Good morning, everybody. Today we're working again on expanded notation, where we kind of break the number apart to show what it means. We're going to do a little bit of practice before we move on to some of the problems that you'll be looking at today. So let's start here with 32. To write 32 in expanded notation, I first have to look at the 3 and decide what does that 3 mean? It's in the tens place, so really it's talking about 3 tens. So I would write 3 tens, which is 30. Plus, I have in my ones column a 2. That's 2 ones, so 2. 30 plus 2 is 32. Okay. Next, we have 132, and this time I've got something in the hundreds column. I have a 1 in the hundreds column, so to write my 1 in the hundreds column would be 100. Plus, in my tens column, I have a 3. That's 3 tens. 3 tens, or 30. Plus, I have a 2 in the ones column. 2 ones. 100, 3 tens, and 2 ones. Okay. Let's move on to this one, 264. We have a 2 in the hundreds column, so that equals 200. Got 2 hundreds plus 6 tens, plus we have 4 ones. So 200 plus 60 plus 4 equals 264. Same up here, we have 100 plus 30 plus 2 is 132, and 30 plus 2 equals 32. Okay, so this is expanded notation for these first 3 numbers. Now our last one is 578. I have a 5 in my hundreds column. That means I have 5 hundreds. 5 hundreds plus 7 tens. 7 in my tens column. And 8 ones. 500 plus 70 plus 8 equals 578. Okay, now we're going to do a couple problems. The first one looks like this, 263 plus 625. First thing we're going to do is break up these numbers. We're going to write 263 in expanded notation here and 625 in expanded notation here. So with 263, I have a 2 in my hundreds place. That means that right here, I've got 200. 200 plus a 6 in the tens place. 200 plus 60 plus a 3 in the ones space. 3. 200 plus 60 plus 3 is 263. Okay. Now here on this number 625, I have a 6 in my hundreds place. So right here I'm going to write 600, and after we finish writing this number in expanded notation, we're going to look at what 600 plus 200 is and write our answer right here. Okay, so moving on to the tens place, we've got a 2 in the tens place. That means we have 2 tens. 20. And we have 5 ones. 5 ones is 5. So I have 600 plus 20 plus 5 equals 625. Okay, so now we can look at each row or each column, and we can say, okay, what's 200 plus 600? 200s plus 600s equals how many hundreds? Yeah, 800. Okay, good. Now we've got 6D plus 20, or 6 tens plus 2 tens. If I have 6 tens and I add 2 more tens, I will have 8 tens, or 80. My last one is 3 plus 5, which you can do just by counting with your fingers. 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 plus 5 equals 8. So now here, for my answer, I've got 800 plus 80 plus 8. So how do I write that as one number? Well, I have 8 hundreds, 8 tens, and 8 ones. So I really have 888. That would be my answer. Now, if I were to look at it this way and start in my ones column and do 3 plus 5, that would equal 8. 6 plus 2 equals 8. And 2 plus 6 equals 8. So that answer is correct. Okay, let's move on to one more problem before you get started today. This last problem is 492 plus 317. Now let's break up 492 into expanded notation. I have 4 hundreds. So the first thing I'll write is 4 hundreds, or 400, plus a 9 in the tens place is 9 tens, or 90. And last, I have a 2 in my ones place, which is 2 ones, or 2. Okay? 400 plus 90 plus 2 equals 492. Now here, 317, I have a 3 in my hundreds place, which is 3 hundreds, or 300. And a 1 in the tens place, which is 110, or just 10, right? And plus 7. 7 ones equals 7. Okay, so now I have 400 plus 90 plus 2, and 300 plus 10 plus 7. Let's do this column first. 400 plus 300. If I have 4 hundreds, and I add 3 more hundreds, then really you can just look at 4 plus 3 and add those zeros behind, right? So that would be 700s. 700. Next, I have 90 plus 10. If I have 9 tens and I add another 10, what am I going to have there? I'm actually going to have another 100, right? Okay. And last, I have 2 plus 7. 2 plus 7 equals 9. So I have 700 plus 100 plus 9. Now this 100, since this is kind of where I keep my tens, and I have a new 100 now, really what I can do, well, let's get my mouse. I can really take away that 100 and add it over here to be an extra 100. 700 plus 100 is 800. And really I could just have nothing in my tens column, right? And then a 9 here. So 800 plus nothing plus 9 is 800 plus 9, which equals 809. Now, if I look at that, let's look at the problem here. 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So that's correct that I would have a 0 here, and I would actually carry a 1 to the top, right? 9 plus 1 is 10, so 0 goes here. 1 goes up to the top of the elevator. 1 plus 4 plus 3 is 8, so that's all correct. Okay, so now you are ready to carry on your assignment.